confirmed stream. So as soon as I wave at you, you guys will be good to go, okay?
Okay. So our first presenter is prevention of seniors abuse and ageism. And I'm not sure who's doing the presentation on that. Brandy?
I have Laura Proctor and Pauline Ring.
Yes, hi, good morning. We're so happy to be here. I'm just going to go ahead and share my screen if that's okay.
Thank you.
Okay, so if all worked well, you should be viewing my screen on elder abuse, a closer look.
Yep.
And I will let my colleague Pauline take the lead on the first half of the presentation. Pauline, just let me know when you want to switch the slides.
Okay, thank you. Good morning, everyone. It's really good to be here. We always like to spread the word about elder abuse and its prevention, and the more we can do, the better. So I'm going to do the first part of the presentation, as Laura said. It's going to be about our local network, sort of what we do and what we've been doing and what we're going to be doing. And then Laura will take over to talk about the actual definition of abuse and the different forms and ageism and that sort of thing. So here we go. Okay, Laura. So our network, a lot of you may be surprised to know that we've been around since 1996. When I joined in the 2000s, I had never even heard of it, but it's been going on all that time. And when it first started, it was for vulnerable adults, not just seniors. But it quickly changed to the focus to seniors because there were a lot of other groups dealing with and serving people with disabilities. Elder Abuse Ontario began to provide support to us in 2007. Not financial support, but they support us in many other ways. They provide all kinds of resources and training and education to help us do our work locally. And we became the Prevention of Senior Abuse Network, Simcoe County, in 2007. About us, we have about 49 members in the network. Now, those are not active members. A lot of them like to just get the minutes and get the information. There are about 15 actual working members of the network, but we have over 20 agencies represented, and we have the City of Barrie Rec Center, the two of them, Parkview and Allendale. We have the Barrie Police, we have Simcoe Police, and we have the OPP. We have retirement homes, we have Lucia as one of our members, and all kinds of other agencies that deal with seniors in some form or another. We also we did have 7 retired seniors, but a couple of them have gone. In 2017, we reorganized and decided that we needed an executive. So we have a 5-member executive that provides direction, and we meet usually before the network meeting or sometimes after, but we do provide direction and make most of the decisions. We have monthly meetings, the whole network. We're not incorporated. And that's a big problem when you try to get funding, because a lot of funders don't want to give money away to organizations or agencies that are not incorporated. So we don't have any funding. We don't have staff. We don't have an office. We don't have a telephone. But we do have a good group of volunteers who do an awful lot of work. Our vision is that all seniors in Simcoe County live with dignity and respect in a safe environment. I don't think anybody could argue with that. And our mission is to promote community participation in a network dedicated to promoting awareness, prevention, and response to senior abuse in Simcoe County through advocacy, education, and collaboration. So what we do, we provide speakers. We have speakers that we can go into situations such as this. We've been to Simcoe County, we've been to Wasaga Beach Council, we've been to service clubs and different organizations that want to hear about senior abuse. We provide education and training for seniors. It's Not Right is a wonderful presentation that we use. It's a national presentation that's been tested. It can go from 30 minutes to a couple of hours. It has all kinds of information about abuse, prevention of abuse. It has little videos that illustrate what you could do and what you shouldn't do. It also has a section on ageism and how to support seniors. And we do this for seniors groups. We've done probably, I'd say, 50 or so of them in the last few years when we're allowed to do presentations for people, not on Zoom. We provide resources. We have a website that has a lot of resources. We hand out resources when we go to seniors fairs and different seniors events. We have access to all kinds of information from Elder Abuse Ontario as well. What we don't do, though, and it's really important to note that we do not provide direct response or intervention to senior abuse. Sometimes people call us and ask us to help. We can't do that. I mean, first of all, we don't have any staff. Secondly, we don't have, the wherewithal to do that. What we do for people is to refer them to resources that can help. Next, Laura, please. So what we've done in the past few years, as I said, we don't get funding regularly from anybody, but the Seniors Community Grant Program started up a few years ago, and they started a stream that allows individuals to apply for funding on behalf of their organization. And it's a much more limited pot than if you were incorporated. But we were lucky enough in 2019 to get a seniors community grant. The maximum was $3,000. We applied for that and got it. And with that, we replaced our old defective website and with our brand new one, and it's very good. It's www.psan-sc.ca. At the same time, we decided to create some abuse prevention kits, and we tested those actually at Parkview. We had an event, and we handed out 25 bags and asked the seniors if we could call them and see what they thought about them. We gave them a questionnaire with the bag, and I called them all a week later and got some wonderful feedback. Some of the things that they thought were superfluous, and some things that they thought we didn't include that we should have included. So we refined those and we have those to give out. In 2020, we got another seniors community grant of $4,000. They upped the maximum by $1,000. And we created a roadshow to promote education and resources to rural communities in Simcoe County. We've been to a lot of the bigger areas, Barrie, Aurelia, Collingwood, but we had not been to the little places like Ramera Township and Penetanguishene and Victoria Harbour and South Simcoe down to Bradford and Tottenham. So we took our roadshow down there, and at the same time, we distributed those abuse prevention kits to the folks. That roadshow was really well received, but it was cut short in March of 2020 when COVID happened and we had to stop doing presentations. We did get 7 in, and we fulfilled our contract with the ministry, so that was good. In 2021, we got Seniors Community Grant again, and we got $19,000 this time. And because of COVID, we couldn't do our regular work, doing our education and training. So we created 8 videos that we put on our website, and they're under the education tab. That took quite a lot of work and quite a lot of organization, but they have been very well received as well. We also changed the abuse prevention kits to safety kits at that time, and we've included different information in it. And because we can't go out and distribute them ourselves, we asked the first responders. So the Barrie Police have them, the South Simcoe Police have them, the OPP has some. And when they go out to do wellness checks or whatever other things that they do, if they go out to seniors, they distribute those kits for us. So Simcoe Police have distributed in the last year 100 of those kits. We also gave the kits to the Barrie Library when they were doing seniors. I think it was in June we did that. We gave them 50 bags and they were all gone in minutes. So those kits we've produced over 1,000 and distributed them in the past year under the various forms. We also did a few drive-in events. Bradford, one of the senior centers there, had a drive-through. They have an enormous driveway, a circular driveway, and we had some booths set up. It was all outdoors. And we provided information to the seniors down there. And as Anne-Marie mentioned, we did a little, it was very small. We distributed some of our safety kits to the mall walkers in Georgian Mall. It was just last week or the week before. So what we're doing now, we're producing 2 more videos. We have money left. We prepaid our videographer. We have money left to do 2 more videos. That's being done now. We're continuing the distribution of our safety kits. We had a New Horizons grant last year that we purchased materials for another 1,000 of the safety kits. We've created a poster that we're going to be distributing so that people know where we are and what we do. We're planning for World Elder Abuse Awareness Day, which happens on June 15th every year. In the past, we've been very fortunate that Parkview has allowed us to do events there. We have had a barbecue, we've had a picnic, we've had entertainment, and they've been wonderful days to promote awareness of elder abuse. We've also had, we had a flag raising in Barrie this past year, and we've had them in Simcoe County and Springwater Township as well. So we're planning this year's event. Hopefully we'll be able to do some in-person things. We're at the moment writing a proposal for a New Horizons grant. The information just came out last week, and we can submit as soon as tomorrow. So we have a small group meeting tomorrow night to see what we want to do with that. And we're always on the lookout for new members, because new members just inject such a breath of fresh air into any group. So we're always looking for anyone who has an interest in elder abuse or in seniors. So thank you. That's what we're doing. Laura, over to you.
Wonderful. Thank you so much, Pauline. And truly, Simcoe County Elder Abuse Prevention Network has been doing some really great work. So just a little context before I jump into exactly what elder abuse is. I'm Laura Proctor. I'm with Elder Abuse Prevention Ontario. So we are mandated to implement the strategy to combat elder abuse, and we're generously funded through the Ministry of Seniors and Accessibility. And we support, one of our key roles and why I'm here today is we support over 30 local networks across Ontario, and one of those 30 is Simcoe County. So we support them in doing initiatives like this, raising awareness, training, and education. So we'll jump into the definition of elder abuse. We always use the World Health Organization's definition, and it's a single or repeated act or lack of appropriate action occurring within any relationship where there's that expectation of trust, which causes harm or distress to the older person. The key takeaway from this definition is really that relationship context. So technically, frauds and scams is not elder abuse because it can impact all of us at the same rate. The perpetrators of frauds and scams are generally or most often strangers, where when we look at the context of elder abuse, we usually look at it through the lens of family violence, where there is that expectation of trust. So let's look at the prevalence. How big is this issue? Worldwide, 1 out of 6 seniors will experience abuse over the next year. If you want to bring that closer to home within the Canadian context, back in 2015, the National Initiative for the Care of the Elderly released this prevalence study where they're suggesting that about just over 8% of seniors will experience some form of abuse within the community over the next year. We do know in Ontario, most of our seniors still reside in the community. Over 80% of our seniors live at home in their own communities. So let's break that down a little bit more. When I did mention the stat of about 8%, we know that elder abuse is really a hidden crime across Canada. So there's a lot of barriers in reporting abuse for our senior and our older adult population. So we can easily double, if not triple, those numbers to get a more accurate percentage of the prevalence. So we could be looking at between 20 to 30% of our older adults experience abuse. So broken down by the forms, since 2002, emotional and financial continue to be the most prevalent forms of abuse, and then followed by physical abuse, sexual assaults, and then as well as neglect. So what are some of the risk factors? What makes somebody more at risk than other populations? Unfortunately, those of us that are women online today, we are at a higher risk of experiencing abuse. If you're part of the LGBTQ plus community, if you've experienced abuse anytime throughout your lifespan, so as a child, adolescence, and younger adult years, the number one risk factor is dementia or cognitive impairment. And then women with disabilities, senior women with disabilities, are actually 4 times more likely to be sexually assaulted in their senior years. If you live at the poverty level, if you suffer depression or any other diagnosed or undiagnosed mental health issues, if you're dependent on another individual for your care, the second biggest risk factor is that social isolation piece. So you can see that during the first wave of the pandemic, with so many individuals being isolated, that we saw cases of elder abuse skyrocket. Our senior safety line, which is the crisis line here in Ontario, had a 250% increase in calls over that time. And that was due to so many of our seniors being isolated, living with their abusers in the home. If you live with somebody with addictions, whether it's drug, alcohol, or gambling, and then that deteriorating health where one partner cares for another really increases that risk level. So let's look at who are the abusers within the community. I can confidently say it can be anybody in that supportive relationship context. So it can be domestic violence grown old, so your spouse or partner. It can, of course, be any other family member, your son, daughter, or even grandchild. It can be informal caregivers coming into your home, neighbors helping you out running errands. And then as well, it can be formal caregivers, paid agencies providing those formal supports and services. The key takeaway with recognizing an abuser is that abuser typically looks as though and presents as though they're the most supportive person in that senior's life. So we'll start breaking down the types of elder abuse. We're going to be looking at financial, psychological. You'll hear me interchange verbal, psychological, or emotional abuse, all the same, as well as physical, sexual, and neglect. So what is emotional abuse? It's any action, verbal or nonverbal, that lessens a person's sense of dignity and self-worth. The key is that emotional abuse is very personal. We all have our own life experiences. We all react differently to different situations. And that if somebody feels as though they're being emotionally abused, we need to respect that and be non-judgmental when somebody's describing their situation. We do know that with any form of abuse, typically there's two forms of abuse coexisting together. So some indicators of emotional abuse, overwhelmingly, most are socially isolated. You're always going to be able to see that power imbalance where the victim, the senior in these situations, have lost control of making all of their decisions, have lost the ability of making their own choices. Most often we're seeing in these cases that the older adult has no access or denied technology, so denied access to a phone to connect to those supportive individuals in their life. And then most often and depending on the person's personality is certainly always the baseline, but you'll see indicators of fear, discomfort, being really nervous around certain family members. And indicators can be that name calling, ridiculing, insulting, bullying, many times where seniors are treated as though they're children, where they're not able to make those key fundamental decisions. Now, the most prevalent form of elder abuse is financial abuse. And to define financial abuse, it's any improper conduct done with or without the informed consent of the older adult that results in that monetary or personal gain to the abuser, and then of course the monetary or personal loss to the older adult. So some hardships you're going to be noticing in these cases is, of course, COVID-19 frauds and scams. As I said before, not technically elder abuse, but certainly financially impacts hundreds of thousands of our seniors across Canada every year. Some other indicators during COVID, we saw a high increase of family, adult children moving in with parents or grandparents, and then not financially contributing to the household. Also, many seniors lack or have absolutely no access to their banking information. And then the number one form of financial abuse is that misuse of power of attorney. We need to be very cognizant of who we choose to be our power of attorney for finances. And that continues to be the number one form, is that misuse. And then of course, other indicators is that theft or forgery, changing legal documents. So we'll jump into neglect. It's the failure to provide care and assistance required for health, safety, and well-being. It needs to include that pattern of inaction, which jeopardizes the health and safety of the older adult. So in most cases, you're going to see that failure to thrive. Your indicators can be that lack of groceries, medication, administering expired medication, canceled physician appointments, denied access to general support services. So we see this a lot where home care PSWs should be coming into the home and they're denied that service. Failure to provide basic medical attention or treatment. And then you're always going to see that inability to actually physically have eyes on the older person to ensure their overall well-being. Physical abuse, it's any act of violence or rough handling that may or may not result in physical injury, but causes physical discomfort and pain. So some indicators are what we typically would think about as rough handling, hitting, pinching, slapping, restraints or confinement. And restraints can be medical restraints, so over-medicating, using street medication as a restraint, and then overall confinement, so taking door handles off the room, physically locking somebody into a room. Some other indicators are broken assisted devices, so hearing aids, glasses, canes, walker, and then I want to highlight again, it's something that we don't think about daily, is that it's that over medicating or withholding medications. So I do want to highlight our senior safety line. It is managed by the Assaulted Women's Helpline. And as I said at the beginning of the presentation, over the course of the pandemic, they have continually seen an uptake to this line with over 250% increase in calls. They are available 365 days a year. And the wonderful thing is that this is available in over 200 languages. So a language barrier that many of our seniors have. Pauline and I want to thank you for your time. This is the wonderful new website. And Pauline, please jump in.
Thanks, Laura. If anybody has questions, we'd be happy to answer them.
Go ahead, Anne-Marie, go ahead.
Oh, it's just an offering. So I was going through the website, through the presentation, and those videos are amazing. I'm posting about them and hopefully getting some traction. So is there anything we can do for you to leverage our networks and to help get the information out? I know the presentation referred to, I think, the June date for the Seniors Day, but in general, maybe it's something we can discuss as a committee, but perhaps there's a pop-up or an event. I'm thinking about trying, as an example, trying to maybe hold a drop-in at the East Bayfield Community Center and maybe sponsor an all-bodies swim. So I'm exploring my opportunities to do that, but maybe there could be a table or something. I can reach out to you, Pauline, if there is a day, and maybe we can see if there's one on Thursday when thank you, Molly. There's free public transit for seniors on Thursdays, but maybe we can coordinate something too in the spring that supports, I think, the June date and making sure that people are aware of the resources.
Absolutely. We're always happy to, anytime that we get invited to put a table up anywhere, we take advantage of that. I mean, even a few weeks ago, still in the summer, Jessica Gorley was doing some work with youth, and she had this van that traveled around and it had skateboards and so on. And she just did an impromptu call out to some of the seniors organizations to set up a table outside in the Holly parking lot. And we did that. So anytime there's an occasion to do that, we will always make sure that somebody's available. And we have resources. We have our safety kits. One of our members make sure that we always have at least 50 on hand that are filled. If you want to know what's in the safety kits, we have our brochure that we've had for a while. We've revised it and had it reprinted, and it's also available in French. We have a useful contact information page that was put out by the OPP. We have information on how to tell someone you're being abused, a safety plan, a financial checklist, a 211 information page. We have a resource guide to living well, which has Living Well and Aging Well, which has also been put out by the OPP. It's a wonderful booklet. We have created a glasses cleaning cloth that has our little slogan, "Rights Don't Get Old," that we used for the World Elder Abuse Awareness Day this past year. It also has our website on it and the Senior Safety Line. We have a pocket magnifier, a Senior Safety Line bookmark, which has information about that line that Laura gave you. We have a notepad and a pen with our logo on it and the Senior Safety Line, and a tent card, which sounds bizarre, but it's like if you took a business card, it's about that size, and you open it up. It's on the front of it's our information about our network. Inside, on the two pieces inside, are different who to call if you suspect you're being abused or somebody else is being abused. And then on the back is your name, the senior's name and phone number, and then the emergency contact information. And it's just a little, it's the same size as a business card. You can keep it in your wallet or your pocket. And if you fall like I did today on the ice, and if I had been knocked unconscious, I have that card in my pocket, so somebody would know who to call in case of emergency. So those kits, and they're all in, I can show you here, a purple bag. These bags are, our color is purple, elder abuse. So we hand those out, and we have other information as well that we could do. So thank you, Anne-Marie.
You're welcome. And I guess I had two quick questions, and if they're, we can take them offline if you want to reach out to me by email too. Happy to continue the conversation. But one, well, a couple of things that come to mind as the Barrie Public Library is such a great resource hub. Are your resources connected to the library in any way? And if not, I would encourage you to reach out and see what might be possible to echo through their resources. And then the other one is, while I sit on this committee as the representative counselor, I'm also the chair of the Alzheimer's Society. So often we have a lot of the questions around other resources. When we talk about safety and wandering and seeing your stats around dementia and women, I'd be curious about, is there a relationship to using any technology that's typically either the call button necklace or any other identifiers that other agencies seem to be using? So whether it's, you mentioned those things I think that are more informal around ID, but is there anything tied to the Seniors Prevention Network where you advocate, you link individuals to other resources that might be able to then, you know, if you're in a situation, you can physically tag a button and it triggers a phone call. Is that something that's tied into the Seniors Prevention Network or advocacy?
Not at this point, no, but we are tied into the library.
Great.
Great. Well, thank you very much for your presentations. They were excellent. I understand that you have sent your presentations, copy of the presentation on. Molly, you had one question before they go?
Yes, thank goodness it seems as if the seniors in long-term care homes might be getting better service. I had a friend recently who had had 2 surgeries on her knee and then was sent for rehab to a hospital or retirement home, wherever it was, north of Barrie. She was there for many weeks and she was shut in her room all day. She was fed, but no rehab. I find that scandalous.
Yes.
Don't know how we solve that, but long-term care certainly doesn't appeal to me at all, not until they're charged with misdemeanors.
So
But,
Molly, I hear those stories, unfortunately, far too often. I do all of the consultation calls across the province. So last year I did about 3,500 consultation calls. We're technically funded only for the community, but you know that we get a minutia of calls around long-term care and retirement. So I need to encourage you that there is mandatory reporting within long-term care and retirement, not community. So if you feel as though your friend is at risk of harm, being harmed, or there's that overriding potential of harm, you are required, as you are a mandatory reporter as soon as you step foot into any of these environments. So in the old days when I do presentations, that made me a mandatory reporter. If she's in long-term care, there's the long-term care action line. Or if she's in retirement, there's the Retirement Home Regulatory Authority. And I would encourage you, they take calls 24/7. They will have a team of investigators follow up. So I would encourage you to follow up with a phone call to either one of those numbers, Molly. And I'm so sorry to hear that. And I hear it so often. And together we can make a difference as far as the care that our older adults get. And I think that's needs to be a priority moving forward, because, and I'll just end it with this, is, you know, I hope to get older. I don't like the alternative. So I want to advocate for the future me. I want to be treated with dignity and respect, that's for sure.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. That was excellent. We really enjoyed your presentations and wish you well in your future endeavors in your organizations. And thank you again for attending.
Donna, sorry,
Thank
Donna.
you.
it's
Yes.
Thank
Sorry,
you very
Donna,
much.
it's
Take care.
Lucy. I just had that one quick question for Pauline,
Okay.
just to reinforce, because the videos are so excellent. And they really do open up the dialogue and create an sort of like a framework for how seniors can talk with each other. And that's kind of unique. Could you just tell us a little more about the videos?
About the videos? Yes. The first one we did was one I did, and it's called, I don't know why we modeled it after the road show that would be created. So we've just called it the Traveling Road Show. And what it is just a very small bit about who we are, what we do, and it's similar to what I did today. And then it goes into abuse, the definitions of abuse, the different types of abuse, how to recognize an abuser, and am I an abuser myself? What are the signs? Am I controlling? That sort of thing. So that's the first one. Then we did 3 about the effects of COVID, one on seniors, one on caregivers, and one on healthcare providers. And then we did one on power of attorney and financial abuse. And we did one on healthy relationships, which is really very good. It's sort of almost an assertiveness kind of thing. And then Laura did one for us on predatory marriage, because that's becoming a very big problem. And the last one we did, the Barrie Police did one for us on all kinds of different frauds and scams. And we will continue to do these. As I said, we're going to be doing 2 more. And then we're going to apply for the New Horizons grant to try and do more of them.
Thanks very much.
Okay.
I've got an Alzheimer's board meeting Thursday. I'll put the link to your videos on our board meeting for information.
Oh, good. I think we need to do a lot more with the Alzheimer's group, Anne-Marie. Thank you.
Thank you again.
Thank you.
Everyone, take care.
Okay. Thanks.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye. Thanks very much. Our next presenter is Ann Palmer from Sharon Palmer from the Food Bank. So Sharon, take it away.
Okay, let's see if I can share my screen here. Can people see my screen now?
Yes.
Yeah, for the Barrie Food Bank. Okay, so thank you for inviting me to speak with you today. What I thought I would do is give you a quick overview of what the food bank is about, what we're focused on, some stats in terms of use of the food bank by seniors, and then what actual food and services we provide for seniors and for everybody for that matter. So first of all, our vision is a community where no one goes hungry. And our mission is to provide temporary food relief to vulnerable individuals and families in our community and serve as a resource to guide them on the road to self-sufficiency. And our values are respect, compassion, independence, self-sufficiency, and service excellence. So we are a charity. We provide monthly grocery hampers, emergency bags, camping bags, and we restock 5 little pantries throughout Barrie. I'm not sure if you're familiar with the Little Pantries. It's a project that we launched in collaboration with a number of churches in Barrie over the summer. And think about a little reading library, and instead of having books inside, they have food inside. So we've tried to place them in areas, a number of them in the downtown core, reaching more of the homeless population, because we know we don't do a great job of serving that clientele today. And it's really a way for them to have easy and fast access to food on an ongoing basis 24/7. Everyone in the community is welcome to use our service. Anybody living in the city of Barrie or Innisfil. We purchase food, we recover surplus food from grocery stores and local businesses. We receive produce donations from individuals, farmers, and the community gardens. We have 3 full-time staff, 3 part-time staff, and about 60 volunteers who operate the food bank. And I will say that most of those volunteers are seniors, as well as some of our staff as well. And we are open Monday, Wednesday, Friday from 1 to 3:30. And we're going to be opening starting this week from 4 to 7 on Thursdays as well. So in terms of seniors, we have about 113 senior households, or about 223 individuals that are using the food bank. That is about 10% of our whole client base. So it's a fairly small percentage of the full base, but it's a growing segment. The largest segment, if you're interested, is actually children. So about 35% of the people that we help are under the age of 18, just as an aside. So if you look at the stats over time, you can see that the number of individuals that are accessing the food bank on a regular basis is growing. So this chart shows sort of pre-pandemic, we would have had around 69 people accessing the food bank, and now it's up to about 223, and it seemed to peak in March of this year at 235. So you can see that it's grown about 3.4 times since January of 2019. And just for context, overall, among all individuals that use the food bank, it's grown about twice as much. So, well, sorry, doubled since the pandemic. So seniors 3.4 times as many, overall about twice as many are using the food bank as now versus January 2019. So why are seniors using the food bank? So one of the main things I think that's contributing to that is just inflation. This is a chart that I got from the health unit, and it's a food study that they do. The last time it was done was 2019. And it shows the percentage of income that's going towards cost of food and housing. And if you look at the highlighted box, it shows old age security, guaranteed income supplement. If that's what their income source is, if you're a male, age 70 plus, about 77% of your income is going for housing and food. If you're a female, it's about 73%. Those were based on 2019 stats. If you are living in an apartment, as I'm sure you know, the cost of living, the cost of apartments in Barrie has gone up significantly. So the most recent stat that I could find, average rent for a 1-bedroom apartment in Barrie is now $1,775, and that's up 22% just from a year ago. We also know that food and gas and just about everything else is also going up. So I think that that is one of the contributing reasons why we're seeing more seniors using the food bank, is just the overall cost of living is just getting more expensive, and the cost of, or the income is not keeping pace with that. And this just goes into the inflation piece a little bit more. So annual rate of inflation for Ontario rose 4.9% in October from 4.4% in September. So you just see that continuing escalation of inflation that's going to put more and more seniors in a difficult position. This slide just shows you where the seniors live that are using the food bank. And I think that the message here is that they're really from all over, which I guess you would expect too, but just to show that they really do come from all parts of the city to the food bank. So we have a real policy of low barriers to getting food from the food bank. We do ask for photo ID, and we do ask for proof of residence in the city of Barrie and Innisfil, and that's it. We just want to know who they are, and that's so that we can track for our statistical purposes. And we're looking to serve the clients within our region. There are other local food banks in the area, and if they live outside of Barrie, then we will always refer them to other local food banks. I will say, though, that we will never send anybody away from our doors without something. So we have what we call emergency bags or camping bags. So if people are living rough, we have a version of the bag that is for people who have no cooking facilities. And it's always 2 to 3 days worth of food, primarily dry goods, plus a bag of bread and pastries and water. So that's typically what we would give out to somebody who either can't show proof of residence or just wants a small amount of food is those emergency bags. We also have gift cards available for people if they have special needs. And so this isn't necessarily for seniors, but for example, with babies, if they need a specific formula that we don't have, we would use that for gift cards. And we will give out those gift cards again for special needs that we can't address. We do have delivery services available. We primarily focus on people who are ill or disabled, unable to get a drive or a ride from somebody else, or they cannot pay for transportation. So we are growing our delivery service. It has expanded over the last year with COVID. Anybody who is quarantining was also able to get delivery. But it's not an extensive service at this point, and we do always encourage people to try and find other ways to get here. But if they cannot, we will deliver. And sometimes we have people who come and they'll come by walk or bike or bus, but then they can't get the groceries home, so we will help them with taxi money if needed. We have many agencies in the city that will pick up food for their clients. So I've listed a few of them here, but there's about 20, I think, in total that will on the behalf of their clients, come and pick up food for them. In terms of what we offer, so that monthly hamper, if you look at the grocery cart, is kind of an example of what you can expect. In there is going to be a bag of meat. It's usually several pounds of ground beef, a package of chicken, and extras at what we call add-ons. So the grocery stores will often give us frozen dinners, entrees, pizzas, you name it, and anything extra that we get from the grocery store recovery program will go into the meat bag. Dairy, we give out a liter of frozen milk, a dozen eggs, and cheese and margarine. We give out a bag of bread. So if you look at the largest big bag on top in the grocery cart, that's bread. Bread, muffins, danishes, whatever's coming in from the grocery stores, we get a lot of bread, and so we give out a lot of bread. Vegetables. So vegetables does vary a bit by time of year. Our standard is always 10 pounds of potatoes, 3 to 5 pounds of carrots, and a bag of onions. In the summer, we are very blessed to have lots of extra donations, and we have lots of extras to hand out. So this fall has been tremendous. We've had bins of apples, we've had squash, all through the late summer, we had corn on the cob. And we just did a partnership with Mississauga Food Bank starting in July, where they were bringing up container loads or truck containers with fresh produce from a farmer down in Leamington. So they were bringing in tomatoes, cucumbers, and peppers. So the farmer was donating the produce, and we would send a truck down to Mississauga Food Bank and pick up 4 skids of vegetables every 2 weeks. And these skids were, I don't know if you know what a skid looks like, but it's kind of about 4 by 4, and they were 7 feet high. So tremendous amount of produce, and we were getting for the cost of gas to go down and pick it up, and cost a couple of $100 towards the shipping up from Leamington to Mississauga. It's on a pause right now, but we hope we'll be able to get that fresh produce starting again in January. We also give out about 4 big bags of canned goods, pastas, cereals, all kinds of things like that, toiletries, special items. So we carry Ensure, we carry Depends. We are able to accommodate gluten-free diets, halal diets. And then we have just a number of random items that come in as donations do that we're able to offer people as well. So that's a quick summary of what we're seeing in terms of seniors using the food bank, and an overview of what we provide. And I'll just ask if there's any questions at this point.
Is there an income level or any no income level as far as what qualifies for the food bank?
No, there's not.
Okay.
What we know is that only about 20% of the people who are actually food insecure will come to a food bank. So that means a lot of people who actually need our services won't come. So we want to make it as easy, as barrier-free, as accessible and easy as possible to encourage people to come.
Sharon.
I think you're on mute.
Gwen?
Can you hear? Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Okay. With our Seniors Community Fund, we're looking for recipients.
Mm-hmm.
Those are people that we will give between $100 and $500 out for needs, whether it's food, rent, or hearing aids or whatever. And if you know of possible recipients, would you please let me know, Barrie@carp.ca?
Sure.
Thank you so much.
Barrie at, say again?
Barrie@carp.ca.
Will do.
Thank you so much.
Any other questions?
Dan Marie, is there, again, anything we can do to leverage the network? So I know that you're not, based on the website I'm looking at, not doing any food drives or inviting individuals yet to do that, but you are taking donations, and I believe you are now calling for volunteers and need drivers.
Yeah, so the volunteers, we've actually had an overwhelming response to the call for volunteers. I'm going to take that message down. We have lots of people who are offering to volunteer right now. In terms of the food drives, so I'm not heavily promoting food drives at this time, simply because we are still working on a much truncated process in terms of we've only got about 50 volunteers in our warehouse, and that's throughout the week. And we really try to keep people spaced out. As I said, most of them are seniors, so we try to be very careful. We love our seniors and we want to keep them there, and they need to feel safe. So food drives just creates extra pressure on us to manage that large volume of food. So what we're trying to do is kind of, if people come to us and want to do a food drive, we're working with them, but I'm not heavily promoting it. We've been kind of working with what I call mini food sorts all this fall, which are working really well, where we just have about 10 or 12 people coming in at a time, as opposed to the 40 people that used to come in at a time. And that's working really well. So the other thing I'll say is that financial donations always go farther for us. So if you think about $1 that you're spending at retail, you're paying retail prices. We only purchase from local grocery stores, and we have a couple of partners in town who are just really, really good to us, and they will call us when they can get a special deal on chicken or something. And so we can just make sure that we always have that fresh, that meat, that dairy, the produce available when we have the financial donations. And we can just make that dollar go so much farther than somebody with their own money buying a product at the store. So it works with us at 2 levels. It keeps the the need for food sorts down and the number of people in the warehouse, and it stretches the dollar.
Wonderful. And I have to say, I've had the great privilege of connecting with Sharon around Barrie urban gardening and other food security pieces. So I think, Sharon, are you at a year yet in your new role as
A year in
executive?
March.
You are in March. And if you haven't met Sharon, I just wanted to take a moment to really compliment your leadership in that role and your connection to other agencies across the city. I think you've been very visible and quite a lovely partner. And if you haven't seen the food pantries that Sharon was talking a bit about, they're quite amazing. And I'm not sure, Sharon, if it's worth noting, do you want people adding to those, or are those ones that are stocked through the food bank? Because I know you were doing some very interesting audits about what was taken and what's not, and kind of customizing what was going into those little pantries.
So we did do a pilot for the first 8 weeks, and we kind of just took that on ourselves to constantly restock and see what was going and what was popular. And now we're partnering with the churches and the community, and we welcome donations to the food pantry. I will say, and you'll see there's a signage at the food pantries that basically say, we're kind of gone to our winter assortment, if you will. So we're staying away from things that have moisture in them, because we don't want canned goods that will freeze and thaw. So things like oatmeal packages, granola bars, dry pasta or KD, soda crackers, anything that is dry goods that doesn't have a lot of moisture in it is kind of the assortment that we've gone to for the winter, just to make sure that there's no food safety issues. And so the community is welcome to contribute.
Is there a list somewhere of where the food pantries are? If you donate, do you have that on your website?
I don't have it on my website yet. I'm going to do that, but a couple of ones. So Grace United, Burton United, the Anglican Church, Collier United, and then the Anglican at the top of the hill, also on the same street. St. Margaret's is just joined, and there's a 6th one coming on stream as well. Did I mention Grace United?
Yeah.
So those are some of them in the city
Great.
so far.
Thank you. Any other questions from anyone?
Hi, it's Lucia. Sorry, I had my hand up there. I'm not sure if it shows. Thank you, Sharon, first for all your great work. You did mention something that got my question going. You mentioned there was frozen elk. And so then I wondered, how do some of the other maybe dietary restrictions get met for people? Maybe people of other cultures, maybe someone needs a halal food or has diabetes. Is there anything that you work out for people in those situations?
Yeah, so we have some alternatives. So we often have like an oat milk or something like that available for those types of clients. Halal, we almost always have halal chicken available. And we have some fish that we keep specifically for halal diets. And we have a special area for halal diet and for gluten-free diet. So it's not extensive, but we will try to meet those needs. And we encourage people with special dietary needs to call us in advance, and then we can sort of shop our warehouse and find those items that they would like, and we'll put together a special order for them. If we don't have something that they need, that's where those gift cards come in play.
Excellent, thank you.
Any other questions? No? Great. Well, thank you very much, Sharon. That was an excellent presentation. You really provided some exceptional information that I haven't seen before on the food bank. So your work in the last year has made some major improvements, and working under the restrictions of COVID, you've done an amazing job at helping the community. So we're very pleased to see what the food bank is doing for Barrie, and thank you very much for your time and your effort.
Thank you. I appreciate it. It's nice to speak with you this morning.
Thank you again. Okay.
Amazing service.
Yes, very amazing. Thank you. So our next presenter is from the Simcoe County Social Services. And is Asa on the line? Waiting.
Hey there. No, it's Tracy Hill.
Oh, no.
Osa unfortunately couldn't be with us today. So,
Okay, I'm sorry.
so I'll be doing the presentation. So I'll
Thank
just.
you. And what is your position there?
I am age-friendly coordinator for the County of Simcoe, and I'm also a recreationist at one of our 4 county homes.
Wonderful. Thank you so much.
Just share my screen here. There we go. So thank you so much for having me here today. My name is Tracy Hill, and like I just said, I'm the age-friendly coordinator, project lead for the County of Simcoe. I'm also a recreationist at one of our 4 county homes, Georgian Village, which is located in Penetang. I am very new to this role. I've just taken it on within the last couple months. However, I've worked in senior care for several years, and as part of my current role as recreationist, I'm always looking for ways to keep our residents engaged in the community, so it was very fitting that I took on the age-friendly role as well. Osa, unfortunately, couldn't be with us today. Osa is our manager of decision and support management. She was going to be here to help me with some questions. So unfortunately, if I'm not able to answer anything, I will write it down and I'll take it back to our team and I will email you. I'd also like to introduce Jane. Although Jane is not on the call with us today, I wanted to mention her. Jane is our leader of the Age Friendly project taking place in the county. Jane is not only our leader of this project, she is also the general manager of health and emergency services. So just to give you a little background of how the county got involved with Age Friendly. So the WHO, which we all know is the World Health Organization, the county is really excited to be a part of this movement. The county of Simcoe identifies the 8 dimensions of the WHO, so transportation, housing, social participation, respect and social inclusion, social participation and employment, communication and information, community support and health services, outdoor spaces and buildings, and transportation. Kind of our mission statement is let's build an age-friendly Simcoe County together by valuing and supporting our adults in our community, and at the same time celebrating diversity, refuting ageism, and reducing inequalities by recognizing their contribution to our region. So a little bit more background. So in 2007, the World Health Organization came out with a guide outlining the framework for creating an age-friendly community. If you just skip down there a bit, in 2015, the county received a grant. From that grant money, we were able to do a needs assessment and a survey of the residents of Simcoe County, and we were able to come out with our positive aging strategy framework. So programs and services supporting seniors in the county of Simcoe during COVID-19. So some of the services that we promoted during the pandemic was our website. So any helpful links or services that were being offered throughout the county, we post on our website. So residents are able to go on there and find anything kind of going on or happening right now within the county. We also post our meeting minutes and upcoming events. We also promoted 211. 211, I'm sure a lot of you are aware of 211. So it was kind of one-stop shopping. You could go on there and be able to find some services within the county to help seniors out during the pandemic. And this is just a little slide of a letter that we sent out to some of the residents. Just being able to let them know about groceries and pharmaceutical services, just encouraging them to call 211 to help them find services in the area. The County of Simcoe has a age-friendly seniors housing grant. So in 2018, County Council approved $500,000 in annual funding towards this program. This year, we had an overwhelming response of 103 applications, as opposed to 54 in 2020, 76 in 2019, and 30 in 2018. Because of this overwhelming response, County Council has decided to award well over $600,000 so that seniors were able to do accessibility projects within their home, convert their bathrooms, walkways, and add stair lifts. We also have a municipal grant. So this just went out recently. In 2021, County Council approved $50,000. So this allows municipalities to work on their ongoing age-friendly projects within their community. So part of that is part of this was conducting a community needs assessment or undertaking projects that enable seniors to age in place within their community. This also this year, this included COVID-related projects. The county also has a age-friendly business guide and recognition program. So this is to help businesses adapt their areas within their business to make it more, to make it more age-friendly. So businesses can broaden their customer base by increasing a competitive edge and serve a fast-growing market. So this will help them understand accessibility and the importance of ensuring the physical environment of their business is easy to navigate. This year we chose to put this program on hold, and we hope to have it back in 2022. So how do we use technology differently throughout the pandemic? Speaking as a frontline staff during the ongoing pandemic, we had to get very creative. Our seniors were advised to stay home, reduce social contact, and give up in-person visits with family and friends. And this also included shopping. So within our county homes, we started doing virtual calls and several virtual calls. This was an excellent way for families to stay connected with their parents or loved ones. Just knowing that they were safe in our facilities. Our facilities, unfortunately, were closed for several months for in-person visits, so we were able to do these virtual calls in place of that. We also went to virtual volunteering, so we had our volunteers offering bingo virtually, rosary, as well as one-to-one support for our residents. A lot of times they just wanted to have a visit with somebody, so we were able to have our volunteers set up times and go in and visit with these residents and have a nice little chat with them. We also promoted local service groups within our homes and again on our website through the libraries, what was happening in the libraries, our senior groups, VO and exercise programs, and then any local groups that were offering grocery pickup or delivery. That was another big one for our residents. So some of the key learnings and pressures we faced supporting our seniors in Simcoe County during the pandemic. So I'm going to speak about our long-term care homes and senior services homes, as well as residents within the community. So the County of Simcoe long-term care homes and senior services were directly impacted in the following ways. Residents were feeling socially isolated. Depression and anxiety was very high, missing their family and friends, social distancing and missing human contact, fear. Government directives were changing very fast. So really it was the unknown for a lot of our residents. And then for our residents living in our independent areas, it was being able to get groceries if they didn't have that family support. So again, we did encourage 211 and then any local food delivery services in the area. Key learnings and pressures we face supporting the seniors. So again, providing virtual calls, and when restrictions allowed us, we started doing outdoor visits. Staff providing one-to-one emotional support. And as a recreationist, we really got creative, trying to keep that social aspect safely with our residents. So we moved our programming into the halls at the beginning of the pandemic, keeping everyone distanced. We reduced our programming size, and we also provided newsletters ongoing to the residents living in-house of different organizations offering virtual programming. And if any residents needed help learning how to navigate virtual programming, we also provided that for them. We also hired a social worker within the county. So we were able to submit referrals for residents needing that little extra bit, and she was able to offer support to them. Challenges seniors face living independently within the county of Simcoe. So this one definitely seniors feeling isolated and living alone, depression, unable to use technology or to connect virtually, making them feel isolated, unable to get transportation to their appointments, for example, vaccine clinics, and residents living in rural areas, we were unable to stay connected to them. So how we offered support to these residents living independently, again, promotion of local services on the County of Simcoe's website, communicating 211 and their services. The County of Simcoe provided vaccination transportation. And we also have our community paramedicine program. So this program is ran through our paramedics. It takes our paramedics out of their traditional 911 emergency roles. So they were able to offer support to residents living independently. I believe this comes as a referral. And then our paramedics were able to go in and offer support, medications, blood pressures, that sort of stuff. So instead of having the resident leave their home, we went to them. And what opportunities are we exploring to enhance age-friendly within the County of Simcoe? So Simcoe Manor, located in Beaton, we are currently ready to redevelop that site. So this is an adult lifestyle community for 60 plus, amenities, that lots of different amenities there, offering different choices of housing. So we have 160 long-term care beds going into this facility, 42 retirement living units, 40 life lease and market rentals, 32 affordable housing, 32 supportive housing units, 12 townhouses or garden homes. We have 9 units of co-housing, which is called the Golden Girls. So I believe that we will be sharing a kitchen and bathroom, and everyone will have their own bedroom. So kind of really a neat concept of a living, kind of reduces that social isolation as well, having somebody living there with you. We will have a community center, which is a beehive, adult day program, which will be ran by the VON, childcare center, medical offices, tenant space, restaurant, fitness center, pool, library. So the concept of Simcoe Manor will be age in place. So there'll be lots of opportunities for extra support. Speaking as an employee of Georgian Village, we have our residents that live independently and slowly will progress into our retirement home. Unfortunately, to go into long-term care, that's the government takes care of or mans those wait lists. So we can't decide who would go into our long-term care facility, but as people need more support, we're there to be able to offer to them. This is a site plan. So quite a large facility, really, really excited for this. I was working with the County of Simcoe through our development of Georgian Village. So it's exciting to see that they're doing another facility. And we're hoping that it'll be open in 2024. Some other areas that we're exploring is an age-friendly business toolkit. So again, educating businesses on how to make their business accessible and age-friendly for seniors. We're working on ways to reach seniors in rural areas. High-speed internet is not always available. The accessibility to the internet. So how can we reach these seniors in these rural areas? We're working on return to in-person programs. So a safe approach to this. I know just speaking from residents that live within our building here, they are a little hesitant coming back to in-person programming. So how can we make them feel safe doing that? And our last project that we're starting to work on is a bench program. So having more seating throughout the county, so residents are able to go for nice little walks and have a nice bench to sit on, and how that will look and who will take care of it. And thank you very much. If you have any questions, I'll do my very best to answer them for you.
My first question is, how many of, there's always an issue of County of Simcoe and Barrie. Barrie doesn't always have access to the services. So is there a way of knowing how many of the services provided by County of Simcoe Barrie residents have access to? And if you don't know that right now, you can get back to us.
I will definitely get back to you. I don't want to give you the wrong information. So how many services?
Yeah.
Barrie's offered.
Right. And
Okay.
the other question I have is, there's a new bus service. Is there not? County of Simcoe runs?
Yes. So
it goes between Barrie, Midland, and they're planning to expand that. Do you know much about that one?
So I do believe they did expand this year to go out to other areas. So Aurelia now, they're stopping in smaller towns. If you go on the County of Simcoe's website under link service, it's called, I actually can also send that to you as well. But they will, on their website, there is the new routes that are going on and the times. So that's connecting more of the community now.
That's
So
great.
it's, yeah, it is a great service.
Great service, yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah. Any questions from anyone? I can't see hands, so you'll have to just unmute and talk.
Hi, Donna. It's Anne Marie. Not really a question because I'm familiar with this. I sit on the Simcoe County Human Services, and so Tracy, congratulations on your role. It's great to have
thank
you.
you.
In that space and capacity, and it's nice to see some of the movement forward around the development that is happening in the county.
Yeah, it's exciting. I'm really looking forward to it. Like I said, I worked at our previous facility, and I got to watch Georgian Village grow, and working here, how I absolutely love working in this building. It's just so neat, and being able to see our residents be so independent and go into the pool and enjoy the recreational programs that we offer. So it's great to see that, not that Beaton doesn't already have tons of great recreational programs, but it'll be a nice big new village for them.
I have another question, and maybe you probably won't have an answer, but Anne-Marie, you might. How does the Simcoe County determine where it will put new complexes that it develops? Like, how did it determine that Beaton was where the best location was for its complex that it put in?
That is a very good question. We currently do have a facility down there right now. So I don't know if that had something to do with it, replacing the older facility that was there. Just the same as with in Penetang, we're not far from our old facility that we were at before.
The reason I ask is because Barrie is projected to grow in the next while, a considerable amount in its population. And how does the Simcoe County take the increase in demographics into consideration in that development? Because that will affect the current services in the long range. So planning for that is kind of important to us as seniors in our own community. Yeah, in Barrie.
Donna, I'll ask Jane about that for sure.
Yeah, appreciate knowing. Thank you. Gwen?
I actually have that figure for you. Simcoe County 65 plus from 87,405 will grow to 179,854 in 10 years. So that's a double.
Mhm.
Mhm. Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, that's interesting. Gwen?
Mhm.
Just, it doesn't include Barrie and Aurelia in when you're talking about all these programs. It's outside of Barrie and Aurelia, right?
Yeah, the grants, yes, outside of Barrie and Aurelia.
Yeah.
Yeah, I wanted to mention them today because I know there's we're all connected with other seniors, so it might be something we can encourage outside of Barrie and Aurelia. Yeah.
I have another question. Is there any demographics on how many seniors that live in Simcoe County actually move eventually into the city of Barrie? Like, I know up north, we always had the problem with services in the major centers were always driven by population, but then people would complain about, you know, in the rural areas, they didn't realize that a lot of the seniors that the services were provided to actually were seniors that moved into the larger centers. And sometimes that's a factor in determining how many services Barrie needs as well. So I just wondered if there are any statistics on that.
I personally don't have any, but again, that's something I can find out.
Yeah, Anne Marie, I think that's an interesting statistic, because if Simcoe County provides services for Simcoe County, and then a lot of those individuals as they age move into Barrie for convenience, that is actually transferring that senior population to Barrie as opposed to growing it in their own area. But you did show a statistic where you said you're in Simcoe County, the seniors are growing, right? Yeah. Any other questions? I don't have, can't see your hands, so.
Hi, Donna, it's Lucia. Sorry, I just put my hand up. Thank you so much, Tracy, for that. That's really exciting about that new development. Really amazing. I'm just wondering, there's this one small little seniors home that I think it was originally for people with disabilities on Collier Street. Is that also part of the county? Because it seems to have a sort of a different kind of thing to it. I can't describe it.
So the four,
so
the four homes that we have within the county is in Aurelia, Trillium Manor. We have our facility in Collingwood, Sunset, Georgian Village in Penetanguishene, and Beaton Manor in Beaton. So those are the four that the county have.
Okay, thank you. I'm just trying to understand that one because it's right in Barrie, and I know Barrie is sometimes exempt from a number of things from the county, like the new garbage bins, and sometimes I have trouble keeping those all sorted out, and I was just not sure about that particular home.
Yeah, I don't believe so, not in a long-term care and senior services capacity.
Okay, I think I see Anne-Marie maybe knows something more.
And I guess it's because some of the conversations blend with other pieces. So I'll send to the group what might be of interest when we talk a bit about City of Barrie and taxpayer dollars. There is a service agreement that we do have with Simcoe County that does have relationships to social housing, paramedic emergency services, and long-term care. So while the 10 long-term care homes, I believe, that are in Barrie still, since I worked with the Lynn and CCCs from those days, unless I've missed counting, formally would not be tied to the county of Simcoe. But we do have a cost sharing arrangement that's embedded in our service agreement where some taxpayer dollars do support and have a relationship to Simcoe County function. So there'll be presentations, I imagine, coming to council about what those services are, how that is perhaps funded, and what that unique relationship is from the City of Barrie and County of Simcoe.
Anne-Marie, would you be able to bring also back to us which of the homes in Barrie are receiving expansions and additional funding through the ministry for?
I don't have that. I don't think I have that.
Okay.
I'm no longer with, but I think we could go offline about what because we keep circling the housing conversation and long-term care conversation. So it might just be identifying the right people that can provide that for you.
Okay, perfect. Okay, Gwen, you had your hand up?
Yes, I'm just wondering, there was a promotion of a long-term care home on the border of Barrie and Springwater County out on Bayfield. And it was Primacare Living, and it was very similar to the one you were just discussing with, they were going to have the hub with Georgian Bay, or excuse me, Georgian College, et cetera. And I can't seem to get an answer on where the status is of that, whether it's going to be approved or not. It was a 10-acre site. I think it was like 150 beds, also assisted living, the education center. It was, and transformative culture of care, which is what we're working for at CARP.
Sorry, you said that was out heading towards Springwater?
Yes, right. When you go down the hill on Bayfield, there's a, I forget the name of the street, but there's an insurance house there, insurance building right there. And that's apparently the border on Springwater and Barrie. And that's where they had 10 acres right there that they were going to build on.
I can, I'll add that in my email with questions and see if they have any answers to that.
Is it Carson Road, Gwen?
I'll have to drive out and look at the name on the side.
I think it might be.
But it's just at the bottom hill, as I said, and there's an insurance building there right on the corner.
Okay, they can
on the right side. Yeah.
Yeah, I can ask about that for sure.
Yeah, no, I'd really like to know. It's going to employ 300 people, and it would take a number of years to build, but it's very much like what you were describing with the transformative care.
Great. Okay, any more questions? No? Okay, Tracy, thank you so much.
Well, thank you for having me.
No, it's great. You did a wonderful job.
Oh, thank you.
And we wish you well in your new position.
Thank you very much.
And thank you again for being so detailed in what you've given us. Thank you.
Excellent. Thank you so much.
Okay. Bye. Okay. Brandy, we have on the items of discussion the 2022 meeting schedule. So
yeah, so I just throw that on there basically to kind of discuss with the committee to check and make sure everybody for the remainder of 2022, if everybody's still good with the meetings being scheduled as they are.
Right. And I believe that we do up until June, and then we take a break in July and meet back in August. Yeah, this is an election year, right?
It is.
Yeah.
Yes.
So with it being an election year, do committees have a date at which they stop before the election? Elections usually fall, right?
It's my understanding. Yeah, it's my understanding that all the committees for the 2018-2022 term kind of go right up with the election. So it's like November 14 is basically the cutoff, and that's my understanding of it.
Yeah, all new appointments that you would have seen recently to various committees of the city, the term is still to November 2022.
Okay, perfect. Okay, so maybe we could just put a tentative schedule together, Randy, and then just send it out to everybody so that they know for next year.
So I'm keeping things as they are then.
Okay.
For scheduling purposes.
So maybe
Molly has a question.
Go ahead, Molly.
Am I the only one that has another conflicting date for the regular dates we have for this committee? I am on another committee and they happen to meet on the same day. I just wondered if anybody else had this conflict. Because you're not going to change dates just for me, I realize that.
Well, Brandy, when you send out the tentative schedule to everybody before the meeting, maybe you could just ask if there's any questions or concerns about the meeting dates, and they could let you know.
Absolutely.
That's the thing to do. Okay, so maybe we could do our seniors event update from the various individuals on the committee. So Molly, you have anything to update us about? No? Okay. Gwen?
Just continuing to work on the Seniors Community Fund, looking for not only donations, but for possible recipients 65 plus living at or below the poverty line that we would like to assist. Anybody that can spread the word, we would appreciate it.
Are you connected to local, like not home care, but home and community care? Maybe they might have people through that, through people that they service. Is there any, maybe you could connect with them and see if there's anybody in there.
Yes, if anybody has any ideas, please email me, barrie@carp.ca. We're doing this all through social media, trying not to spend any money on advertising or whatever, that all the money should go directly to recipients.
Okay.
So any help is greatly appreciated.
Okay. Colin?
Hi, this is actually my last meeting with the group. I'm leaving the Gilbert Center on January 14th. I'm going to OHAS, which is a provincial organization that addresses health and harm reduction for Indigenous people.
Oh, neat.
So
congratulations.
Thank you.
Yes, congratulations. A huge loss for us, but that's amazing to see your skill set leveraged provincially, Colin. That's phenomenal.
It's a population I haven't worked with directly before, so I'm really excited about doing that.
Every success, Colin.
Thank you. So I guess this position that I'm on the committee is till November.
Right.
Okay. So would you like me to find a replacement from the Gilbert Center to sit at the committee?
That would be great if you could do that.
Okay. So as soon as I have the name and contact information, should I send that to you, Donna?
Send it to Brandy and we'll go through her. Okay.
Great. Okay. Thanks.
Thank you. We're going to miss you. You've done a great job. It's great having you on. Yeah. That sounds like a really interesting new position. So wish you well with it.
Yes.
Thanks.
Pat, do you have anything?
You're on mute.
No, I was trying to unmute, sorry. No, I have nothing new. I haven't, I've been actually very busy, so I haven't even rejoined anything going on at the Parkview Center, but I understand the Allendale Rec Center is now open as well, which is wonderful news.
Great. Okay. Lucia?
Nothing much. Our storefront location, the Nanjay Family Smart Life Center, continues to just be able to offer one-to-one assistance with technology because that's been deemed an essential service. No groups going on in person, but a ton of wonderful national programs still happening on cnib.ca, and check out if you can. Thank you, everyone.
Anne-Marie?
Thanks. Hopefully it ties in okay. So I'm going to do a walk with me Wednesdays at the Georgian Mall. So thanks to Pauline, who we heard from. There's a number of seniors, but also all ages, accessing Georgian Mall from 7 a.m. to 9 a.m. before the mall stores open. And they've actually done a lovely job. Liz there has a coat rack, and many individuals looking at that being safe, slip-free, accessible option to get physical activity in. So I'm trying to promote that, especially with the weather getting a little bit colder. But for those looking at also free access to a space to walk and get some exercise, I'm seeing that that's being well used again, but maybe not well known. So I'd share that there. And then if anyone has an idea, I'm hoping to sponsor 1 or 2 drop-ins at the East Bayfield Community Center. I'm working with staff around identifying perhaps a time or type of program. I know Colin's talked a bit about the all bodies swim, and I've been speaking with Jessica Gourley about that option too, but maybe other pieces. I'm hoping maybe even to do a drop-in pickleball that actually talks a bit about adaptable sports, but also all age sports, and having people come out and try it. And also then explore some of the resources through the facility. So if you've got any ideas, it might be nice to have members of the Seniors Advisory Committee come out, maybe with members of the Accessibility Committee, and maybe join in an activity and use it for some promotion around options for seniors in the community.
Great.
Great.
Anna Marie, quick question. The mall walking every morning, is that every day or just Fridays?
I
Or
believe it's
Wednesdays?
every day. So,
Okay.
yeah, I think it's every day. I'll try and reconnect, but guest services will probably let you know in case I'm wrong. But we went and met Barrie Police and did some promotion work around safety. And in general, I'm going Wednesday mornings just to kind of connect with people, but also to walk for my own health and wellness. I'm pretty sure it's every day, 7 to 9.
Excellent. We used to take a walking group there with guide dogs, and it was really fun.
Oh, great.
Yeah,
Yeah, I
maybe-
would say connect with Liz because things have opened up, but still a lot of the seating is not there. So if anyone's going, but you know, we are seeing that the seating like around the fireplace and that has been removed for now. But there is a coat rack and there are a lot of people coming back to walk.
Great, thank you.
Which door do you enter?
I go in through by the Tim Hortons entrance on the lower level. I think they might all be open, but that's where at least I've been familiar, and I can let the committee know on Wednesday when I go, and I'll try and get more information from Liz and send it out to the group by email.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
The health unit on Huronia used to have a program in the Bayfield Mall as well. That they have people that come there and monitor people's heart rate and pulse and everything and help you with warm-ups. So I don't know if they've started that one up again or not, but I know they used to have one there as well.
Yeah, I'm not aware, but on that side, maybe just a little plug for the health unit, because we are seeing many seniors coming in for their booster and the flu shot. So there is, if you watch the health unit's website, there is, I'm volunteering at the COVID clinics. So there is a spot in the Georgia Mall by the fireplaces where individuals can do walk-ins or appointment bookings. So take a look for more information for those that are eligible too.
Great, thank you. Okay, I don't have anything to bring to the table today. So our next meeting is December the 13th, and look forward to seeing everybody before the end of the year. Thank you all for attending.
Thank you, everybody.
Thank you, everybody.
Well, Colin, let us know how the transition goes to the new job. We'll miss you.
Thank
Okay,
you.
take
Bye.
care. Bye.
Good luck, Colin. Thank you.